Hello, everybody, and welcome to this presentation on self-determination through self-monitoring. My name is Kylan Heiner, and I will be presenting. I recognize my other group members for their participation, Lauren Kaliri, Kelby Bowling, Lynette Fravel, and Jennifer Kuhn. We'll go ahead and get started by discussing what self-monitoring is. So self-monitoring is an essential component of self-management skills that consists of one identifying and monitoring their own behavior. Teaching self-monitoring skills can help students to be independent in controlling their own behavior and has been effective in decreasing problem behaviors as well as increasing desired behaviors, such as social interaction, on-task behavior, and work completion. Current research details numerous methods used for documenting both frequency and duration of one's own behavior, including tally marks, timers, or counters. Also, research suggests many advantages associated with self-management procedures, such as promotion of independence, control, and generalization of learned behaviors. Moletsky in 1974 described 5 different case studies where counting self-behaviors as the only form of treatment was successful in decreasing unwanted behaviors in all participants. So what does the research say? What else? A systematic review examining current research on self-monitoring interventions indicated improvements in behavior across all 41 studies. Reviewed and examined components such as reinforcement and feedback as well. Current research suggests that self-monitoring interventions used with reinforcement and feedback are an effective technique in changing behavior. And so we can tell that this can be an effective treatment, an effective strategy, but how do we implement this? So let's go over the steps, then we'll go over a couple examples of what this looks like. So the first step in implementing this strategy is to set a goal with the child. You will need to define the behavior that you want to reduce. And you'll set the goal with the child of that behavior. Both the child and the teacher will track the behavior. The treatment is just the child tracking the behavior, but the teacher will verify that the child is collecting accurate data. And so that's inter-observer agreement. So how closely related are the child's data with the teacher's data? The child will be reinforced with a preferred item and will also see a graph of their improvement. And a replacement behavior should be reinforced as well in this strategy. So let's look at an example of this. We talked about how to do it. What does this look like? So this strategy can be used school-wide in small groups or individually at school. Let's imagine that a child has a problem with inappropriate classroom behavior. The first step is to set a goal and define the behavior. You will talk with the students and define the target behavior for him. You will then have the student track the behavior using a timer for duration, tally marks for frequency, and/or a checklist for completion of task. This may take a bit of training for the student. You then track the progress on a graph. You show the child how this graph works and how to look at it. Praise the student for any improvements. The child should get reinforcement for tracking his own behavior. This could be in the form of praise, a small item or a treat. The student should also be taught a replacement behavior, such as raising his hand instead of disrupting class. This replacement behavior needs to be reinforced as well. So let's look at what this might look like at home. So we talked about school. What about home? Parents can do this with their children to help them learn self-determination. So an example of this would be a parent that wants to help their child reduce maybe hitting behavior at home. The parent would follow the same procedure as explained previously. They would need to define hitting behavior in clear terms that the child can understand. Have a place that the child can track how often he hit somebody, like on a data sheet or on a whiteboard. Graph the progress and let the child see the progress. Give the child a small preferred item each day or hour that he tracks his behavior. That could be a treat, or even it could just be praise, whatever your child might want. The parent will then try to find a replacement behavior for hitting. So look at, why does the child hit? Is he trying to get something? Is he trying to get out of something? Using a social skill program to teach him to ask for what he wants appropriately could be beneficial. So instead of hitting, what skill should he learn so he doesn't have to hit anymore? But that is how you would use self-monitoring at home. So how do you determine if it's working or if it's successful? And so, as we talked about before implementing the intervention, you would need to create a goal with the child to work towards. So then the child's success should be relatively easy to determine if they've reduced their behavior to a certain level. The goal should be set to challenge the student. Now, also to determine success, you need to determine what we call IOA, or inter-observer agreement. And so you calculate a percentage of how much the student's data matches with the teacher's data. You divide the smaller frequency by the larger frequency and multiply it by 100. Thus, if the student recorded he interrupted 16 times, but the teacher recorded 20 interruptions, the student's frequency would be divided by the teacher's and multiplied by 100, equaling 80%. And so the higher the IOA, the better. You want the student to be collecting accurate data, and that is one form of determining success. So some final tips for this: focus on the child. Don't choose a behavior simply because it would make your life easier. We want the child to benefit from the interventions that we implement. Stick with this. And if improvement has not been seen, or you've been implementing this for a while and haven't seen improvement, you may need to mix things up. Some things you can change would be the preferred item that you are using. Maybe the child really doesn't like Skittles or Reese's or candy, you know? Maybe they want something else. Maybe just praise isn't enough. So you might need to mix that up. Also, you might need to change what data tracking method you're using, or also take a look at the replacement behavior that you're using, or that you're trying to replace with the target behavior. And last of all, have fun. Good luck with this, have fun with this, and enjoy teaching children to manage their own behavior.